Most people think power is loud. They think dominance comes from shouting. They think winning an argument means crushing the other person. But the truth is, the most dangerous people in the room are always calm. There is a way to end any argument without raising your voice, a way to make manipulators stop talking, a way to command respect with a single sentence. And once you learn it, people will never speak to you the same again. Today, I will show you 5 Stoic responses so powerful, so precise, and so controlled that when you use them, even the most toxic people will fall silent. Not because you attacked them, not because you humiliated them, but because you rose above them. And pay close attention, because response number 3 is the one manipulators fear the most. Stay until the end. You're going to want to practice every single one. Everyone knows this feeling. You're speaking calmly, logically, respectfully, and yet the other person interrupts, raises their voice, talks over you, twists your words, and somehow they win. Not because they're right, but because they're louder. But that is not strength. That is insecurity disguised as aggression. The Stoics understood this over 2,000 years ago. True power is not about imposing your will. It is about controlling yourself so completely that others lose control around you. That is dominance. And today, you will learn how to express it with words. Response number 1. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. Response number 1. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. There are people who believe volume equals authority. They shout, they interrupt, they dominate the space. They are trying to drag you into chaos, and most people fall for it. When you raise your voice, you enter their frame, you play their game, and in that moment, you've already lost. Because now it's not about truth, it's about ego. And ego is always loud. But when you stay calm and say, I don't need to raise my voice to be right, something changes. The room shifts, the energy drops, and suddenly they are the only one looking emotional. Epictetus said, he who cannot control his tongue will be a slave to his emotions. When you say this phrase, you are demonstrating mastery, not over them, over yourself. And people respect what they cannot control. But that's only the beginning, because the next response doesn't just silence people, it exposes them. Response number 2. The way you speak says more about you than it does about me. Response number 2. The way you speak says more about you than it does about me. This is for sarcasm, mockery, passive aggression, disrespect wrapped in a smile. When someone attacks you verbally, they expect one thing: reaction, anger, defense, emotion. That is their fuel. But when you calmly say, the way you speak says more about you than it does about me, you don't insult them, you don't defend yourself, you hold up a mirror, and people hate seeing themselves clearly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. This is not weakness, this is superiority without arrogance. It makes them uncomfortable because you are not playing the game. And now, we move to the response that dismantles manipulation at the root.
Let's talk when we can do it respectfully. Some conversations are not conversations. They are attacks disguised as dialogue. The other person interrupts, raises their voice, imposes their truth, and expects you to keep up. They rush you, they pressure you, they overwhelm you. And most people, without realizing it, surrender. Because chaos creates submission. Manipulators understand this. They use speed, intensity, and emotional pressure to destabilize you. They want you confused. They want you reactive. They want you off balance. That is how they gain control. But when you calmly say, let's talk when we can do it respectfully, everything changes. You are not retreating. You are not avoiding. You are raising the standard. You are telling them, this is the level. Meet it or lose access. In that moment, the dynamic shifts. The conversation is no longer about the topic. It is about behavior. And most people are not prepared for that shift. Because whoever cannot speak with respect loses the privilege of speaking with you. This is not weakness. This is self-mastery. Epictetus taught that you cannot control what others do, but you can control what you accept. And by saying this, you make your boundaries visible, calm, clear, unmovable. And manipulators hate that, because they cannot control what they cannot destabilize. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. There are moments when continuing is pointless. The other person is not listening. They are not trying to understand. They are trying to win. They provoke, they poke, they push, and every word they say is designed to pull you into emotion, and that is where most people explode. But you won't, because you have something they don't: control. When you calmly say, "I'd prefer not to continue this conversation," you do something powerful. You remove the stage, you cut the energy, you end the performance. Toxic people feed on engagement. Even negative attention is still attention. When you walk away, they lose their audience, and nothing disturbs an ego more than being ignored. This is not giving up. This is choosing yourself. This is deciding that your peace is more valuable than being right. Marcus Aurelius said that you always have the power to withdraw into yourself, and when you do, you protect your energy, your dignity, and your clarity. You are not avoiding conflict. You are rising above it. And people notice that. They may not admit it, but they feel it. That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. Not every conflict comes from enemies. Sometimes it comes from people close to you, friends, family, colleagues. They mean well, but they push, they insist, they pressure, they try to reshape you. And if you are not careful, you start bending. Most people argue, over-explain, defend, justify, and in doing so, they surrender authority. But when you calmly say, "That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it," you draw a line. Without aggression, without disrespect, without apology. You are not dismissing them. You are defining yourself. You are saying, "I hear you, I acknowledge you, but I decide." This is emotional independence. Seneca warned that living for the approval of others is the worst form of slavery, and this phrase is the key to freedom. It tells the world, "I think for myself, and I don't need permission to do it." When people realize they cannot pressure you, they begin to respect you. Not because you are loud, but because you are solid. These are not just phrases, they are positions. They signal presence, they signal control, they signal strength. When you start using them, something shifts. People become more careful with you. They choose their words. They hesitate before crossing lines, because you are no longer easy to manipulate, no longer easy to provoke, no longer easy to dominate. You become the calm in the room, the still point, the authority. And that kind of presence does not need to announce itself. It is felt.